Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram welcoming you to your daily cricket happening show. And on this cricket happening show, today, as I said, it was the landmark test match for Bangladesh in their test history. And Bangladesh definitely started off very well in the landmark test match to have the Sri Lankans in a bit of a bind, I would say. They had reduced them to, at one stage, they had reduced them to 35 for 3. And the Sri Lankans, definitely I think it was a good day for Bangladesh. But the only thing is that they were not lucky with the toss. The toss was won by Sri Lanka. And at stumps on day one, with Bangladesh bowlers really bowling with a lot of discipline. And they definitely made one feel that Bangladesh was playing the 100 test match with the way they bowled, the pace bowlers and the spinners, and they managed to really restrict the Sri Lankans to 238 for 7 at stumps on day one of the second and final test match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So and Dinesh Chandimal was the saving grace for them, who was really holding the fort for the Sri Lankans, I would say, with a very measured innings that he played. He's still there, not out on 86 to see off the day. And as far as the other cricket is concerned, well, as I'm talking to you, I can tell you that the South Africans are having the Kiwis on the ropes here in the second test match, which is right now underway between New Zealand and South Africa at the Basin Reserve in Wellington, the second test match. And I can tell you that it was South Africa who won the toss, so Kane Williamson deciding to actually bat first. And his team is in absolute trouble as 2 wickets have gone to Kagiso Rabada. He picked up Williamson and Broom LBW, and it was Morkel who gave them the breakthrough by dismissing the out of form Latham for just 8 runs. And right now when I'm talking to you, the New Zealand are in dire straits at 55 for 3, and we are in the first session 1 right now. So we'll come back to that. Right now, G. Travel is 31 not out. Henry Nichols is 11 not out. So G. Travel has looked a bit confident, one could say. But I'll be coming back to that later. And also, the other thing that I will be looking at on this cricket show is going to be as you know, there has been, after the Bengaluru test, where India exacted sweet revenge by beating Australia, a lot of controversy happened as far as the DRS was concerned, in the sense the Aussie skipper Stephen Smith actually pointing to the pavilion to actually division, and that really was slowly going to get blown out of proportion, but nevertheless it was nipped with both the countries really agreeing to something here. But definitely one could see that there is a lot of needle going on between India and Australia. And also I can say that both, even Virat Kohli is sticking to what he is telling. Stephen Smith is not happy with what's happening, and one can say that both are definitely playing mind games here, because they know that the third test match is going to be a crucial one for both the teams. And also I have to say that it is Ranchi. The Ranchi is the first time that ever Ranchi will be going into the history books today as to hold the first ever test match in Indian history. They have held one-dayers and other T20s, I suppose, but never a test match. So test match is going to be played in Ranchi for the first time, so one does not know what to expect. But looking at what, I'll be coming back to that because right now I'm not going to talk about that, but definitely we are expecting something here. So definitely I think there'll be a lot of interest as far as India and Australia is concerned in the third test match. And I'll be coming back to that later. In the meanwhile, I'll also keep you updated as to what's happening at the Basin Reserve in Wellington. But first, I'm going to start off with this landmark test match, which for Bangladesh is the 100th test match. And it was today, it was the second test match played at the Pisara Oval in Colombo. And Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bat first. And Sri Lanka elected to bat first, and Bangladesh on their landmark test match, which I'm sure Mossadegh Hossain, the man who made his test debut today from Bangladesh, will never forget, because he did it on a landmark day for Bangladesh. and one hopes that Mustaq Hussain can really probably score a century on debut to celebrate the landmark test match. But I know it's wishful thinking, but well, Mustaq Hussain could probably eye something like that. But let's have a look at the story of the day. So Sri Lanka were the ones who won the toss and batted first, and there was a lot of egging going on in the sense Tamim Iqbal was keeping everybody busy. He was cracking jokes on the field, and he was also egging on his bowlers very well. It was good to see. Mustafizur Rahman started off with 3 maidens. I mean, he was absolutely on the money, giving nothing away to the Sri Lankan openers, Karunaratne and Taranga. In fact, not only did he bowl 3 maiden overs, but he also bowled a very testing spell to Karunaratne and Taranga to basically make them feel outside the off stump. And then finally, Mustafizur Rahman, after doing a fine job, picked up and gave an early breakthrough for Bangladesh when he picked up the wicket. What a catch from Mehdi Hasan Miraj in the gully. A wonderful catch taken, and one really showed that whether Bangladesh can field in such a fashion as Mehdi Hasan Miraj really took a superlative catch, one could say. And he was, so Karunaratne was the first wicket caught by Mehdi Hasan Miraj of the bowling of Mustafizur Rahman for 7 with 1 boundary. So that was 13 for 1 when Karunaratne departed. After that, Taranga was joined in by Kushal Mendes. Kushal Mendes fell a victim. Mehdi Hasan Miraj absolutely buoyed up with the fact that he took that wonderful catch, bowled superbly. What a delivery. He dragged Kushal Mendes outside his crease, and in the process, it was Kushal Mendes who fell a victim as he was dragged outside the crease, and Mushfiqur Rahim did a very, very smart stumping, as Kushal Mendes was really, I would say, befuddled by Mehdi Hasan Miraj by dragging him out of his crease, and that was a big, big wicket for the Sri Lankans, for the Bangladeshis. As Kushal Mendes was gone, stumped Mushfiqur Rahim, bowled Mehdi Hasan Miraj for 5, which made it 24 for 2. Chandimal came in and joined Taranga, and then Mehdi Hasan Miraj went on to pick up the wicket of Upul Taranga as well, caught by Soumya Sarkar for 11 with 1-4 to leave Sri Lanka in a lots of trouble here at 35 for 3. After that, Gunaratne came into the crease and joined Dinesh Chandimal. Chandimal definitely played himself into the form the other test matches he would know, but today he was definitely under a bit of pressure, so he took his time, he bided his time at the crease. He knew that there was a responsibility on his shoulders, being an experienced bloke in the Sri Lankan team as the chips were down. Gunaratne, Asila Gunaratne at the other end contributed 13 with 1 boundary. And as I said, all these Bangladeshi bowlers were really bowling with some real purpose today. And there was definitely, I would say, the pitch also had something in it for both the pacers and as well as the spinners. As Subhashish Roy, who was selected today, actually was retained, I would say. He was the one who dismissed Gunaratne by getting him LBW for 13 with 1 boundary. So that made the score 70 for 4 when Asila Gunaratne departed. From that, Dhananjay De Silva came in and joined Chandimal. Chandimal, on the other hand, was really trying to ground himself by not really taking any risk, and he was absolutely satisfied just blocking the balls and taking those singles and twos. And then Dhananjay De Silva came in, and Dhananjay De Silva decided that he is not the one who is going to really take a back seat, even though Sri Lanka were definitely put on the back seat by Bangladesh, as it was a good partnership where I would say both contributed. When Chandimal also did, but Dhananjay De Silva was very strokeful. He was driving the ball very well and also sweeping very well, and he had collected 34 runs with 5 boundaries before the left arm spin of Taijul Islam clean bowled him for 34, which made the score 136 for 5, and Dhananjay De Silva departed. And after that, Dikwala came in to give company to Chandimal. Chandimal was the constant at the other end, who was really nurturing this Sri Lankan innings along as Dikwala came in. Dikwala also did a good job, gave good company to Chandimal in adding some good runs. It was 44 runs that they added before Shakib Al Hassan picked up the wicket of Dikwala after Dikwala made 34 with 4 boundaries. and then Dilruwan Pereira's wicket was claimed. Mustafizur Rahman came back for a spell at the end of the day, and he knocked off Dilruwan Pereira by getting him caught with Soumya Sarkar for 9 with 1/6 that he hit. And finally, it was when Stomsur and Rangana Herath, the captain, came in, and he looked confident. I mean, he played some good sweep shots of the spinners, and as you know, Rangana Herath is no rabbit at the bat. I mean, he's such a useful contributor for Sri Lankan cricket, as he's the one who always contributes to the bat as well, and that's what he precisely did. From 195 for 7 with a 43-run partnership which was unbroken, Sri Lanka finally closed the day with Rangana Herath not out on 18 with 2 boundaries. But the good thing was that Dinesh Chandimal was unconquered on 86 with 4 boundaries. I mean, Dinesh Chandimal has to be given due credit. He did not take any risks. He knew that he had a huge responsibility on his shoulders, and that's what he precisely did. He bided his time, and he stood at the crease, and finally, like a soldier, saw to it that Sri Lanka closed the day at 238 for 7. So a very important knock by Dinesh Chandimal, I would say, in this particular innings, when the Sri Lankans were definitely struggling. So Bangladesh bowlers deserve a lot of credit in their landmark test match, even though they didn't have the luck with the toss. But the good thing that they did was to bowl the right lines and lengths. They bowled with lots of discipline. If you look at the bowling figures, that will definitely give one an inkling of how well the Bangladeshi bowlers bowled. Mustafizur Rahman, 15 overs, 5 maidens, 32 runs and 2 wickets. Very good bowling by Mustafizur Rahman. Shubhasish Roy, 15 overs, 2 maidens, 47 runs and 1 wicket. Mehdi Hasan Miraz, coupled with his fielding, also bowled superbly. 15 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 58. Taijul Islam, the left-arm spinner, 14 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 34. Shakib Hassan, 20.1 overs, 3 minutes, 143. And Masadek Hussain, on his debut, got 4 overs, a trundle of 4 overs, in which he gave up 11 runs. So Sri Lanka, definitely the honours going to Bangladesh today in their landmark test match, 100 test match, where they managed to restrict the Sri Lankans to 238 for 7 at close of play on the first day of the second test match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So from here we move on to the next thing, and that would be, and let me go to Basin Reserve in Wellington and give you a live cricket update. So while I'm talking to you here, the South Africans have moved on to 62 for 3 currently. Jeet Rawal is not out on 31 with 5 boundaries. Henry Nichols is not out on 18 with 1 boundary. So slowly they are trying to, I mean, they're just they're just trying to repair the damage right now. So let's so in the meanwhile, let's get on to the India-Australia match. As I said, this India-Australia second test match is going to be played at Ranchi, and Ranchi, as I said, has hosted a one-day international in the past, but never. This is the 26th test venue in India. So Ranchi is hosting its, and also there is a landmark for Australia. Australia are playing the 800th test match here in their history, and Ranchi is the 26th test venue in India, and they are hosting a test match for the very first time. So one does not know what to expect in Ranchi because the Ranchi pitch, I am told, has been a subject of much debate, it seems, and one says that it is expected to be warm and dry, so the temperatures are going to be pretty good at 28-31 degrees centigrade, and it could probably they say that probably it might not have much of a bounce. So one has to wait and watch. So, but as I said, both the teams have already. I mean, both the teams are already into the controversy mode, as you know, in the sense the I would say the shouting has not died down with both the teams, with Virat Kohli and Australia, and also Virat Kohli has mentioned that they are going to play hard, and even I would say Stephen Smith, the Aussie skipper, has also said that everything is in real fairness as far as the game is concerned. It is just that friendly banter that they have, and which really makes cricket very interesting. And it will be interesting to see when both these teams really get into the battlefield. It is like a battlefield now for me, which I would describe this as a battlefield today in Ranchi, where India and Australia will be crossing swords with each other. So let's have a look at the Indian team. The Indian team, one good thing that is going to happen is that Murli Vijay would be back. So the experience is back, and Murli Vijay, we know what a wonderful batsman he is, and he will be replacing Abhinav Mukund, who got an opportunity but muffed it big time, I would say. But nevertheless, so Vijay comes in and strengthens the batting. So KL Rahul and Murli Vijay will open the innings. And KL Rahul, as you know, he was very, very impressive when each and every Indian player could not really contribute, but he picked up the man of the match as well. So KL Rahul will be someone who would be keenly watched, in the sense he's the one who would be key for India, according to me, as far as the opening goes. Murli Vijay is just coming from an injury, so it'll be interesting to see how Rahul and Vijay go. Cheteshwar Pujara is definitely he's in the second innings. He definitely showed what a rock he can be. Rock he can be in front of Australia. That was good to see. Now the main question mark. Now, even though all this has been happening, Virat Kohli might be having a lot of things spinning around his head right now, and he himself has been really been a real failure in this Test series, with Australia probably working on a plan against Virat Kohli. But one has to wait and watch whether Virat Kohli can definitely get onto his own in this particular match in Ranchi, because the public is waiting for that, because Virat Kohli is too great a player to fail once more. So one is waiting to watch Virat Kohli in full splendor, and whether that is going to happen. But looking at things, the way things are going on, but Virat Kohli, knowing him as a person, he is such a guy who is a gungo character, and for him nothing bothers him. Ajinkya Rahane is another one who also played a good hand, I thought, in the second Test match. Karun Nair could not do much of a contribution, but whether in this particular pitch, as I said, it's very difficult to know as to how it is going to play. Whether they are going to, there is probably whether they would probably sacrifice a batsman, Karun Nair, and pick up a right arm offie, Jayant Yadav, who after playing the first Test was dropped, whether he will come back into the mix. Ridhiman Saha, the wicket keeper, and the spin twins Ashwin and Jadeja is nothing to talk about. We all know that Ashwin and Jadeja are on the top of the ICC rankings jointly, and that itself is a great achievement. And then the bowling, Umesh Yadav has not been able to take a lot of wickets, but let me tell you, he's really bowling absolutely superbly. It's just a matter of luck that he needs to, just that bit of luck he needs to pick up more wickets. Ishan Sharma has also been doing a fine job, so it's a good combination there. And then the spinners, so India would be definitely hoping whether they are going to go for an extra spinner. So that is the question mark now, whether they want to go for an extra spinner here. And as far as the Australians are concerned, they have problems. For them, I think the Australians are going to be having problems, because Mitchell Starc, their main strike bowler, is back in Australia with an injury, and his place has been taken by Patrick Cummins. Now, Patrick Cummins is an express pace bowler, and in Test matches you need express pace. So, but the only thing would be to see, and Patrick Cummins is only playing his second Test match, and so it will be interesting. But one thing that will go in favor of Cummins is that he has been selected precisely because he's bowling with more control nowadays, and he has done very well in the Australian domestic tournaments there. So that's a precise reason he has got the nod, and it will be good to see in a Test match. One definitely likes to see fire and brimstone, and Patrick Cummins is someone who fits that mode absolutely perfectly. So he would be partnering Josh Hazlewood. The spin would be again Steve O'Keefe and Nathan Lyon, who will be handling it, and whether there's going to be any other change. Other than that, David Warner, Matt Renshaw, the team is going to be the same. Sean Moss, Peter Hanscom. Now, Peter Hanscom, there's something big due from him, because he's not the one who has got a lot of runs, but he has not got on to a big one. So Peter Hanscom would be hoping that he gets the big one there. And also there could be four places, four persons might be up for grabs here, whether it is going to be Glenn Maxwell, whether it's going to be Marcus Stoinis, Usman Khawaja, Ashton Agar, who is going to come into that position, the number 6 position, and Ashton Agar. So that's going to be a question mark. Now, Mitchell Marsh has also gone back due to injury, which is not good. So this gives an opportunity to either Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoney, Usman Khwaja, or Ashton Agar. But it'll be interesting to see who comes in. So as I said, Ranchi pitch is a sort of a surprise. One does not know what is in store, but the temperatures are good. It's going to be warm and dry there, and I think we are in for a good game of cricket. And before I go, let me give you a live cricket update here from the second test match here. I said South Africa winning the toss and electing to field first. Had the New Zealand, the Kiwis on the ropes here. We are in session 1 right now, and as I'm speaking, it's New Zealand slowly trying to repair the damage. Jeet Raval is 31 not out with 5 boundaries. Henry Nicholls is not out on 18 with 1-4. Just talking about the scorecard here, let me see whether there were no debuts. In fact, Neil Broom was making his debut, but in Neil Broom on his debut bagged a duck. Rabada was the one who dismissed him. So Rabada not only picked up, in fact, Neil Broom was taken a superlative catch. I mean, this was a catch beautifully taken by Quinton de Kock. The ball took the inside edge of the bat of Neil Broom, and Quinton de Kock dived absolutely full length onto his right and clung on. What a catch! Really sort of a marvelous catch taken by Quinton de Kock. He has gone for naught. Tom Latham, the out of form, was the first breakthrough provided by Morkel. He was dismissed for 8 with 1 boundary. And then Kane Williamson, the big wicket that South Africans got is Rabada in 1 over. Not in the 1 over. He picked up the wicket of the captain by getting him LBW for 2, which leaves New Zealand right now at 62 for 3 in real trouble, I would say. Raval is 31 not out, 5-4s, getting to grips here. Nicholls is not on 18 with 1 boundary. So that's a match situation as I end my daily cricket show here with this. And thanks for your company and thanks for watching Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram saying good night.